Hey everyone, this is Safia. My name is Safia Abene, and I wanted to respond to the video that has gone viral, well, at least viral among the SDA church circles, by a woman, a sister called Danielle Simmons. And in this video, as many of you all know, I'm not going into the detail of it. You have to go and look at the video. I'll put the link underneath. You can make your own, not judgment, but make your own, come to a conclusion for yourself. But in the video, she mentions how once in 2009, when July the 23rd, I think, when her parents died, there was a pastor who came into her life she was referred by another pastor who came into her life to help her with the funeral arrangements and everything, and all the things that was left to her as she had to raise the rest of her siblings. And she details how this pastor took advantage of her at her lowest point. He befriended her. They got into a very close relationship where it led to sexual relations, consented sexual relations. And it happened, I think, for about 2 to 3 years. You have to really check the video to actually get that, confirmed. I don't want to state information which is not actually true. So check that there, okay? And then from there, she was passed on by him to another pastor who, by the way, the previous pastor was married, and she was passed on to the second pastor by him, one of his friends, who I think was single, and they also had intimate relations. From there, that first pastor, she calls him Pastor One, brought in another person who was not a pastor. I think he was an IT specialist. And not sure what happened there, but then there was another pastor after that. So I think there was 4 people. And basically, I think it was the 4th one who actually raped her, okay? However, one of the pastors apparently knew what was going on, and he wasn't the one that was actually sexual with her, but you have to watch the video. Okay, now what is the point of this video here? Let me just back up a little bit and let you know a little bit about myself so you know where I'm coming from when I'm sharing this, okay? I am not for or against ministers, Seventh-day Adventist pastors. If any of you know, I have come from an abusive background. I've been abused growing up. 28 years of my life, I was abused in among my relatives, in the community I was living in my school, and even in the church. Yes, I know about abuse. I've experienced abuse. I'm not a victim, though. I am a survivor. And I have written a book on it, which I'm not going to use this as a plug-in. I'm just trying to say I've come through by the grace of God, still going through some stuff and healing and acknowledging, where I need extra help from the Lord. But I am not victim shaming. This is not about victim shaming. I just think there are some questions that need to be asked before jumping on the bandwagon of let's stone the pastors, let's drag them out and discipline them, which I believe they do need to be disciplined, but I believe there's 2 sides to every story. I'm sorry about this background here. This background kind of flashing like there's some kind of spirit going on here. Anyway, I want to continue talking nonetheless. So here's my thing. I've been abused. I understand abuse. I see the bullcrap that's going on in the church when it comes to ministers. I do have many things that I will be sharing in the future, okay, which I've seen. But here is the rub. When I was watching that video, I was adamant. I was upset and hurt for her, even though some things weren't settling too well. But I wanted to, when I found out who those ministers were, let me just sit back a little bit. As I lean forward, it just blacks out. Here you go. As I found out who those ministers were, and I saw the flyers of their upcoming campaigns, I was about to click that share. Yes, I was, because I'm the kind of person, I will root for you, fight for you. I may not know you, but if I know some injustice has been done, I will go all the way and beyond for you. And anybody who knows me knows that I'm a fighter and I do not care about sharing the truth, okay? However, as I was about to share, there was a caution. I knew that was the Lord, because it's like, just hold on a minute. Before you share, remember, you weren't there. I'm not saying I'm doubting her story, but we weren't there. These things have to be played out in court. There has to be evidence weighed, okay? Kind of innocent till proven guilty. We do this in a court of law, and we need to be doing that in the church. It's like, how you gonna share this? You don't know, were you there, Safia? I believe her, but really, can you be solid and be sharing these things without being, being part of, if it's a scandal? Listen, just hear this whole video out, okay? I'm saying if, because I wasn't there. And remember, there's also their wives, their families involved. So God is like, you better check your facts out before you start sharing stuff, okay? And just adding dirt where it doesn't need to be, weigh up the whole thing. So that's what I did. I prayed and watched the video again. This is what I've come to. Now, who cares about my conclusion? I think we need to investigate things before being quick to speak on one side. First thing, I understand about Stockholm Syndrome. I understand about grooming. Shoot, I was groomed as a 16-year-old when I joined the church. I was. But I didn't allow it any longer because I spoke out on it, and it was me and another young person, okay? They wasn't allowed to have their way. It stopped, thank God. Now, unfortunately, not everyone has that story. So I understand that. But I understand about being groomed as a young person. And I understand, as Danielle Simmons shared, that it does happen as an adult. However, and I'm just going to say this as it is, I'm not going to hold back, because I've been having this discussion with friends and just trying to weigh this up before I put in this video out. But I'm just going to say this because my spirit is just haven't been resting as I've been praying about this. What, I want to protect her, I want to defend her. At the same time, I need to make sure I get my facts right. She was 23, okay? Now, I understand she was going through a traumatic period. I can't identify, so I can't say I understand. She was at her lowest and she was vulnerable. And here's this man, this pastor, doing everything she needs. She even says he had what she needed. That's what kept the relationship going on, I think, for 3 years. If I'm correct, 3 years. 3 years, sexual relationship. She said she was sheltered before by her parents. She didn't have any knowledge concerning her body parts and relationships. Okay. All right. So when this married man, this married pastor who was there for her and confided in her about his loneliness or whatever, when he was holding her hand, the first time he held her hand, she was like, something strange, but he said he does this with his daughters. So, he's treating me like a daughter. That's what she said. Okay, so she let him. She's 23. I'm just saying. Then the next incident she mentions was when he kissed her. When he kissed her in the parking lot in broad daylight. That's when she froze. My dear, they call those things red flags, honey. God was with you all the way trying to show you a run. Okay? Now, I understand when you're in a relationship with somebody, when you're in a long-term relationship with someone, it can be hard to get out of an abusive situation. An abusive situation. An abusive situation. At that time, the girl wasn't abused. She was suffering, hurting over her parents and needed that love and support. And she got it from him. And I'm saying, own that. Own that you were complicit in this whole experience with him. The pastor was wrong. I am not sitting here saying the pastor was right. No way. Let me tell you something. All these pastors, anyone involved, these men rotten to the core, need to be dealt with, need to be disciplined, need to be whatever, need to be exposed. Yes, 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 yes. I'm with you all the way on that, girlfriend. However, where is your responsibility in this? That's all I'm saying. You were vulnerable and you needed love. And he was a married man and you knew that. And he kissed you and you just, because he just was able to calm you, he said, because, you know, he just assured you it's normal. This is life. You just, okay, this is life. Okay, that's what you said. And then the next part now is now when he invited you to his hotel room, a married man. I keep saying he's a whole married man. He has a whole wife, maybe a whole children, I don't know. But he's a whole man, a whole married man with a whole wife. You're 23. And he was manipulative. He was emotionally, mentally abusing you then, if you can say. A lot of men do that. It's not right. It's called being a dog. A lot of women get into relationships with men because they take advantage. You see that if it's in the world, we're talking about when a man sees that you need, even in the church, they do it. They see you're vulnerable, maybe a single parent. I know about that. Trust me, I've been taken advantage of. But I'm not going to go and call it abuse. I'm going to call it, these men are dogs. They need to be exposed. But I also need to take ownership of the fact that I've got a relationship with the Lord. God is going to protect his children and tell me, run. I had needs. I understand about having needs. And I understand I need to own that if I've been with a married man, I chose to be with a married man for 3 years. And so when he went to the hotel room and they first, became intimate, as you know, in the video, talks about what she, the experience that she had on a Sabbath. I'm saying Sabbath like that. On a Sabbath, he left church, went to the hotel room, did their thing. Then she felt she was scared, petrified, she said. And he spoke in her ears because he told her, said later on, he told her this, that if a man uses a bass tone and he whispers in a woman's ears, there's a bone in her ear that vibrates to his voice, which soothes her. So he told her this later on. Girl, he's telling you his game. Okay? He's telling you his game. He played doing game on you, as we were saying. And it's wrong for a pastor to do that. It's wrong for any man to do that. It's wrong for any woman to do that, because women also manipulate men too. Okay? A lot of men out there being abused too. But we just laugh at, oh man, she played you. She had you whipped. Really? But as a man, you've been mentally abused. Manipulated. He needs to step down. I know that. So then he's whispering in your ears and you say, okay then. Okay. He manipulated you. He took advantage. All right, that was the first time. Okay? He broke your virginity. And I'm sorry about that. I am sorry. He's a dog. He is a low-down dog. And you decided, he packed his stuff and got ready to go back to church, put his suit back on, go to church. That's sick. God will deal with him. I know. But at that point, you still went back because he had things that you needed. I don't know what kind of network you had. I do believe you had a greater network than what you're saying, because of the fact, Miss Danielle Simmons, I happen to have known you during those years. When I say known you, I didn't know you personally. I'm not saying when you were 23, I knew you. But the earliest I think I knew of you, had interactions with you on Facebook, through your ministries, which are a blessing to me. And also my ministries is probably 2013. You said this happened in 2009. So yes, it could be after the fact. But why am I saying that? I lost my point why I said that. I'll get to that anyway. So he was a married man. He was a whole married man. But I know you have a lot of friends, a lot of support. Okay? In fact, you have this woman, Danielle Simmons, has had relationships. On her page, Confessions of a Sister, which I used to follow. She was a leading woman. She was a speaker. She is a great, powerful speaker. I love hearing her speak. I love hearing her message. I loved hearing her messages. She was very conscious of her womanhood, very conscious of how to handle yourself as a woman and what not to accept in a relationship and walk up. And I understand many of us can preach one thing and still suffer in silence, but she can't say she didn't have the basic knowledge of some things are just not right. He was a married man. And for 3 years, this woman was in a relationship with a married man, and he pimped her off on one of his friends. She thought, okay, well, he's single. I'll go with him. Okay? 3 years after her parents passed away. Now, there's no limit to grief. I'm not saying that. But you're an adult. He was a married man. Just gonna leave that there. There needs to be some responsibility taken. Then when you now go on to the next one, and then the next one, yeah, you've been pimped out. Yeah, these men are playing you. But let me say this. These men are playing you because you allowed yourself to be played. Because by the time you're talking about you are 28 now, and then you even come up with your 28 and you were still doing this, or still being exposed to this, and then you're saying that 10 years after, I still loved him. Look what the first pastor, you had a relationship with this man and it didn't turn out right. He didn't want to stay with you. He was a married man. The next one just wanted to play with you. He didn't want to declare you, didn't want to put a ring on it. So you bitter. And I understand that. Woman to woman, I understand that. But I'm not, oh, listen, I've been with guys. I've made some bad choices. They have messed me up. They took advantage of me. But I cannot, as much as I can say they're dogs, I have to, in order for change and healing to take place in my life, I have to own. I made those stupid choices. When I was vulnerable, I made some bad choices. Well, I'm a single parent. I know what bad choices. Okay, I've been married twice. I know about bad choices. But I can't be blaming these men for my choices. I can blame them for their choices. And you nasty, y'all need to step down. But I'm telling you something. During those years, Miss Danielle Simmons was also on the pulpit. As a woman, she wasn't a pastor, but she might as well have been a woman pastor. If you are going to be up there talking about these men, because these men, you don't know, these men also may have had issues during that time too. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying we've all got a backstory to why we do what we did. Listen, I've been molested by my half brother. I've been raped in the church. I've been groomed as a teen in the church. I've been physically abused. I've been racially abused. I've been all kinds of abuse. And I'm never would I blame myself for it. But there comes a point in time as a young adult when I had to start taking responsibility for how I act as a result of these things. I need help. I need to get some healing. I don't need to keep going to these men for love, because that's what I did. I allowed my body to be used because they told me they loved me. They told me they loved me, but that's my responsibility, Safia. And that's why I write in that book. In that book, I've got no more, a woman's guide, no more. A woman's guide to abuse recovery doesn't just mean no more, you're going to do this to me, but no more am I going to allow you to do this to me. You have, where is the, all I'm saying about this whole thing that she's sharing, she got raped. That's completely different, completely different. I'm not talking about that. You need to go to the police with that, honey. As well as the church, expose them, for real. But you know what? No one's questioning you. Yes, we have Stockholm syndrome. Yes, we have grooming. You're 23 all the way to 28, and then you said maybe about 10 years later, he's about 33. You still friends with the first one while having sexual relations with the others? And my sister, we're talking about 10 years later, it would say all the way to 2019. During that time I knew of you, I see posts of you in a relationship with someone that you were in love with. You said he gave you your first kiss. Or you said the black man gave you your first kiss in a parking lot outside his mother's home. Now, I don't believe that was the pastor. You didn't say it was a parking lot, but you didn't say it was outside his mother's home. I'm not saying it's in person. But here's this. This man, okay, gave you your first kiss. Then he left and joined the military. You were in love with him. Is this during the time when all these things were happening, when you were sleeping with these different pastors? Because come on now, you have him. He's giving you all that you need, right? You could tell him something's going wrong. If a woman is in a relationship with somebody and is sleeping or being groomed by different pastors, no one's gonna say she's being groomed. They're gonna say she's cheating on her man. Oh my gosh, let the heat come where it may. As Miss Danielle Simmons says, she used the quote some matter. I can't quote as eloquently as she did, I don't remember it. But I do like the quote. What did it say? Put the heat to my face. Basically, I'm not afraid. If I was afraid, I wouldn't be here. So put the fire to my face. Because if I was afraid, I wouldn't be here. So I'm saying this right now. Y'all who hopping on this Me Too bullcrap. And I'm saying bullcrap because you know what? I know about Me Too. I know about real Me Too victims. I'm a real Me Too survivor. And I do not support pastors doing this mess. They need to take this step down immediately. But sister, you are also on the pulpit preaching and teaching. You are leading women about how to have relationships. You knew better. You were with a married man or married men. And I'm sorry they took advantage of you. You were at your low point. They need to be held accountable. But my sister, if they're going to be held accountable, so you need to as well. And I'm telling you, this ain't going to hold up in court. That's probably why you're taking it to the church, to social media. It ain't going to hold up in court because they're going to say, girlfriend, you were complicit. You were complicit. You went along with it. You were not, you say you were groomed, but this is a hell of a long time to be groomed. 3 years in a relationship. He was a married man. You cried to God. You got your friends. God, help me. I'm in love with this man. Yes, I'm not condemning you for being in love with this man. I ain't condemning you. Who am I to condemn? I was about to say I'm condemning you. No, I'm speaking against the fact that you're not owning up to your stuff too. You weren't innocent in all this, Danielle Simmons. I'm sorry you lost your parents. And as a sister, as a Black woman, I'm not tearing you down. I really am not. And I know y'all gonna be pissed off by me, and that's fine. But someone has to say this. This is some bull crap. Y'all just taking this and running it with it, and no one's weighing anything up. And anyone dares to question? Oh my gosh, Daniel's minions, or whoever these people are, the military gonna come and blow your head off, and you're gonna wonder, is this a Christian page? My day to go. So I'm expecting to get all that of mine. That's fine. Go and hunt up my pictures and call me this and call me that. I just don't care. I really don't. But I'm sorry for these wives. Remember, there are wives that are involved that probably knew or probably don't know. There are children. There are people involved. Pastors need to understand this when they're doing this mess. But Danielle, you post up the video like that, take this thing to court. Let a proper, thorough investigation be made. I hope you contacted these wives before you did this. I don't know. But the post and to mention, what's his name? Pastor, one of the pastors, Pastor Dave. I think it was one pastor you didn't have sexual relations with, but you have every reason to believe. That's what you said. I have every reason to believe that he knew. You have no facts, but you put his name out. That was wrong, sister. That was wrong. I'm not victim shaming you. Speak your truth, girl. But as you speak your truth, you are complicit too. So if I'm going to talk about so-and-so pastor did this to me, I'm saying, but I loved it though. I really was confused. And you know what? I'm sorry, women, for being there speaking to you guys about this. I was not doing so. So I'm going to step down. I'm going to take my responsibility as well. Yes. Yes. Heck yes. Okay. Too many loopholes in this video. Too many. You're in a relationship with a married man. I'm not condemning you for being in a relationship with a married man. No, just own it. Just own it, girl. I've never been in a relationship with a married man, but you know, I like guys. You know what I'm saying? This is called human nature. Just own it. You were struggling. You needed that support. And they took advantage of that, yes. But I don't think this was some single-handed mess. No one actually, beside the person you said raped you, that's some serious allegation. Take that definitely to the police. But the other stuff not going to hold water. So you got receipts. If you have receipts, you must have known this was wrong. You keep an evidence because you know one day I'm going to share this. Then come out of it. Come on, you were sharing a lot of stuff. I got receipts. I got a lot of stuff that I've seen over the years, Danielle, that you were sharing, which was positive stuff for women about themselves, their bodies, their relationship with who they were as women. And even if you weren't living that, you had knowledge of that to know this wasn't right, but it felt good to you. And I ain't condemning you that it felt good to you. I'm just saying, if you're gonna, be throwing people under the bus, please join them in that journey. Okay, take some ownership. Be a woman. There's some women now. I'm sorry, I say be a woman. I'm saying, act like a woman in the fact that there are women out there, wives out there who are suffering now because of those videos. Own it. Confess to them. I slept with your husband. I was suffering at the time. Will you forgive me? But I have to share this because this man is doing stuff with other women, maybe. I don't know what this man's doing, but you know what? I don't trust these pastors. I don't trust these pastors. Girl, when I saw that video, I told my daughter, please unfriend and do not accept any more men in the church, leaders who are just sending you friend requests. For what reason? My daughter's a pretty young lady. Why are you sending her friend requests except you're there to connect with her for some reason? Okay? So those are my thoughts. Girlfriend was complicit. It ain't going to hold up in court. I think people need to question. I think the pastor needs to be dealt with. And I think Danielle needs to own some stuff. And I think that there's a lot of anger that she has towards men in the church. I've seen a post. I know there's a lot of women in the church are going to hate this. You know, when it comes to women pastors, I'm not against women leaders. My views on women pastors, but it's neither here nor there. Women leadership, I'm all for women leading and talking and speaking in church. Women pastors, no, I'm not for that. So yeah, I'm one of them. Okay. All right. I'm a Bible woman. All right. So my point is, I love speaking. I love speaking. I'm a leader. Okay. But I don't want to be a pastor. Thank you. Not because of mine, but no, I don't want to be. So I know she's got beef with men in the church, you know, when it comes to leadership. So especially now that the pastor kind of went on her post about her flyers, about talking against those flyers, that there was pure men on there. And he's like, I didn't see the post, but I know she made reference to it in the video. And then as soon as he blasted for it, now she's like, okay, I'm going to do this video. Get some background of my relationship with y'all. But put a spin on it that I was helpless in this whole thing. No, you weren't helpless in this whole thing. It just went sour. Because I guarantee, let me tell you something, honey. If one of those men chose to leave their wives and marry you, you would still be married to them today, even though you know they may have groomed you. Because you wanted love and you wanted to be cared for and probably marry a pastor. I don't know. I wanted to marry a pastor. In case I know the feeling. But I'm not trivializing it. I'm laughing because I don't want to be angry and I don't want to. I'm a survivor and I'm not just going to be sitting here and just blaming people. You know, in my book, I speak out, I talk about people, and I still have more to expose. Yeah, I do. But I take my responsibility where it needs to be, and where it's not, no, I'm not going to blame myself. And honey, if you feel that you have no part to play in this, then stand your ground, honey, and just ignore this video, just drive on by. But hey, you can throw whatever you want to throw in my face, y'all, because I already know it's coming. It's coming. Take care, and please think, people. Let a fair investigation take place. Take this to the court. Let the police investigate this. But bear in mind, before we start shaming people like that, there are wives and children involved. There are families that are hurting right now. You know, these men were wrong. Well, girlfriend, so were you.